Most men go through life completely blind to the silent conversation happening beneath every interaction. You shake hands, you pat shoulders, you give polite hugs, and you wonder why nothing ever shifts, why the energy never changes, why she smiles, says goodbye, and disappears from your life without a second thought. Here's what nobody tells you. Your body is speaking a language you never learn to control. And in every moment of physical contact, you're either communicating attraction or broadcasting disinterest. There's no neutral. There never was. Studies in haptic communication show that humans make unconscious judgments about trustworthiness, confidence, and sexual viability within 1.2 seconds of physical contact, before a single word is spoken, before eye contact is fully established. Your touch already told her everything she needed to know about whether you're worth remembering, and most men, they're screaming friend zone with every fibre of their being, wondering why. Attraction never materializes, never understanding that they killed it before it could even start. This matters because the gap between men who understand physical communication and those who don't isn't small. It's a canyon. The men who get it don't work harder. They don't have better lines. They don't spend more time building rapport. They simply know how to communicate desire through the oldest channel humans possess, and that knowledge changes their entire reality. Let me show you what you've been missing. Before we get to specific touches, you need to understand the concept of haptic tension. This isn't something they teach you in school. This isn't common knowledge. But it's the invisible force that separates platonic contact from the kind that makes her think about you for days afterward. Haptic tension is the sensation of anticipated touch. It's the awareness of proximity. It's the electrical feeling that builds when two bodies exist in the same space with unresolved potential between them. Research from the Max Planck Institute shows that the human nervous system can detect nearby body heat from up to 8 inches away. Your skin knows when someone is close before conscious awareness kicks in. And in those microseconds, your autonomic nervous system is already making calculations about threat level, attraction potential, and whether to move closer or create distance. Most men collapse haptic tension immediately. They rush through contact, they apologize with their body language, they communicate discomfort through every rushed, tentative, half-committed touch, and her nervous system reads this correctly. He doesn't want to be here. He's not sure of himself. He's not someone I need to pay attention to. The men who create attraction do the opposite. They build tension slowly. They let it accumulate. They understand that desire lives in the space between wanting and having, and they know how to inhabit that space comfortably while her nervous system lights up, with anticipation. Now let's get specific. Signal 1. The approach calibration. This happens before any actual touch occurs, and most men get it catastrophically wrong. Watch a man who doesn't understand physical communication. When he moves toward a woman for a hug, his body broadcasts uncertainty, shoulders slightly hunched, arms reaching forward before his body commits, eyes asking permission. The entire approach screams, "I'm not sure I'm allowed to touch you." And in that moment, her attraction drops to 0. Now watch a man who understands the game. His approach is calibrated differently. His posture doesn't change as he moves into her space. His shoulders stay back. His chest stays open. His eyes maintain steady contact. And critically, his hands don't reach out until his body is already in proximity. This communicates something fundamental. I belong in your intimate space. I'm not asking permission. I'm assuming we both want this. The neuroscience here is clear. When you approach with certainty, her amygdala registers confidence. When you approach with hesitation, it registers threat or weakness. Both kill attraction, just in different ways. The confident approach activates her ventral vagal system, the rest and digest response that allows for social engagement and connection. the practical implementation. As you move toward her, keep your spine straight. Don't lead with your arms. Lead with your core. Let your body enter her intimate space before your hands make contact. And maintain eye contact through the entire approach, not in a creepy way, in a grounded way that communicates you're comfortable with proximity. This single adjustment changes how every touch that follows is received. Because if the approach feels right, if her nervous system says yes to your presence, then everything else becomes possible. Signal 2. The pressure declaration. Here's where most men reveal they don't understand women's bodies at all. They hug like they're handling something fragile. Tentative pressure. Arms barely making contact. Everything communicating, I'm afraid of touching you too much. And women hate this. Not because they want to be grabbed aggressively, but because tentative touch communicates uncertainty about your own desire. It says, I'm not sure I'm supposed to want you. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who apologizes for his own desire. Biomechanical research on embrace behavior shows that firm, consistent pressure activates the parasympathetic nervous system, creating feelings of safety and calm. But there's a specific threshold. Too light, and it registers as uncertainty. Too heavy, and it registers as aggression. The sweet spot is firm enough that she feels held, not grabbed. When your arms go around her, the pressure should be immediate and consistent, not increasing gradually, not testing the waters, firm from the moment of contact. Your hands flat against her back, not fingertips only, your arms creating a complete circuit around her body, not partially engaging. This pressure communicates, I want to touch you, and I'm not conflicted about it. Women are extraordinarily perceptive to hesitation. Evolutionary psychology research suggests this makes sense. Throughout human history, uncertain males were less likely to provide resources, protection, or genetic fitness. Female attraction mechanisms evolved to filter out hesitation as a proxy for low value. Your touch can't hesitate. The moment your hands make contact, they need to communicate that you're exactly where you want to be, doing exactly what you want to do, with zero internal conflict about it. This doesn't mean being aggressive, it means being decisive, and women's bodies know the difference immediately. Signal 3. The duration deviation time is a weapon, and most men never learn to use it. Social convention dictates that hugs last between 2 and 4 seconds. Beyond that, people start to feel uncomfortable, wondering why the contact is continuing. But here's the secret. That discomfort, that awareness of time extending beyond the expected duration, that's where attraction lives. When you hold a hug longer than social convention dictates, something shifts in her neurology. The first 3 seconds are friendly. Seconds 4 through 7 are where her brain starts asking questions. Why is he still holding me? What does this mean? And somewhere around second 8, if you've done everything else correctly, her analytical mind shuts down and her body takes over. Research on oxytocin release shows that it peaks around the 12-second mark during embraces. But here's what matters. Oxytocin doesn't just create bonding. It also increases sexual receptivity by lowering inhibitions and enhancing positive social perception. The duration deviation is simple. Hold the hug at least 10 seconds. Don't count awkwardly. Just let it extend naturally while maintaining that firm, consistent pressure. Let the silence stretch. Let her adjust to your presence. Most men panic at second 5. They feel the social awkwardness building and immediately release. But men who understand attraction sit comfortably in that awkwardness, knowing it's actually tension building, knowing that her discomfort will transform into curiosity if he just holds the space long enough. You'll feel the moment it shifts. Her body will stop being rigid. Her breathing will change. She'll either pull away, which tells you she's not interested, or she'll settle into the embrace, which tells you everything you need to know. The duration deviation sorts attraction from politeness, and most men never discover this because they're too uncomfortable with extended physical contact. Signal 4. The hand migration static touch communicates nothing. Movement creates narrative. When your hands stay in one position throughout the entire hug, you're missing an opportunity to communicate escalating interest. Not in a creepy way, in a calibrated, subtle way that her nervous system tracks even if her conscious mind doesn't. Here's how hand migration works. Start with your hands in the safe zone, upper back, between the shoulder blades. Socially acceptable, non-threatening. Then, as the hug continues and you're implementing the duration deviation, let your hands move gradually downward, not grabbing, travelling. Your palms stay flat against her back. The pressure stays consistent. But the location shifts slowly from upper back to mid-back to lower back. Each inch you travel downward is a test. Her body will either tense up, telling you to stop, or remain relaxed, giving you permission to continue. And if she stays relaxed, if her body doesn't create resistance, your hands can settle finally at the curve of her lower back, right where her spine begins its descent. This position is fundamentally different from where you started. The lower back is intimate territory. It's where lovers touch each other. It's where a man's hands rest when he's claiming a woman as his. And when you arrive there gradually, when you give her nervous system time to adjust to each new position, the landing doesn't feel aggressive. It feels natural. Anthropological studies of courtship behavior across cultures show this same pattern. Physical intimacy escalates in zones. Public touch starts at the periphery, shoulders, arms, hands, and moves gradually toward the core. When men skip zones or rush the progression, women's threat detection systems activate. But when the escalation follows the natural rhythm, it feels right even when it's surprising. The hand migration is your way of communicating. I'm interested in more than friendship, but I'm calibrated enough to move at a pace that lets you decide if you want this too. Most men either stay stuck in the friend zone with their hands, never moving from the safe upper back position, or they jump immediately to grabbing lower territory, triggering her defenses. The men who understand attraction travel the distance slowly, reading her responses at every stage. Signal 5. The breath synchronization. Here's something most men never notice. When two people are attracted to each other, their breathing synchronizes unconsciously. Respiratory coupling research shows that romantic partners match breathing patterns within 90 seconds of close physical contact. But here's what matters. You can accelerate this process deliberately, and when you do, it creates a sense of intimate connection that bypasses rational analysis completely. During an extended hug, once you've established firm pressure and your hands have migrated to intimate territory, focus on your own breathing. Slow it down deliberately. Make it deep and rhythmic. 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. Her body will unconsciously begin matching your rhythm. This is autonomic nervous system entrainment. Her physiology will literally start mirroring yours. And when breathing synchronizes, heart rate variability begins to match as well. This creates a sensation of being in sync that she can't quite explain. It feels like you understand her, like you're connected, like there's something between you that goes beyond normal social interaction. The practical application. Don't announce what you're doing. Don't make it obvious. Just control your own breathing and let her body naturally fall into rhythm with yours. You'll feel it happen, her chest expanding and contracting in time with yours, the subtle shift in her posture as she relaxes more deeply into the embrace. This is advanced level physical communication. Most men never discover it because they're not present enough during physical contact to notice these subtleties. They're thinking about what to say next, or worried about whether they're doing it right, or already planning their exit. But the men who can stay present, who can tune into the symphony of nonverbal signals happening during extended touch, they're the ones who create experiences women can't stop thinking about. Signal 6. The differential release. How you end contact matters as much as how you initiate it. Most men release hugs abruptly. Arms drop, bodies separate. The moment ends with finality. And all the tension that built during the embrace dissipates instantly. This is a catastrophic waste. The differential release is the art of ending physical contact in a way that makes her want it to continue. You don't release everything simultaneously. You release in stages, creating a gradient of diminishing contact that extends the sensory experience. Start by loosening your arms slightly, but keeping your hands in contact with her body. Let there be an inch of space between your torsos, but your hands stay on her lower back. Stay there for a moment. Let her register that the embrace is ending but hasn't ended yet. Then slide your hands slowly from her lower back to her sides. Trail your fingers along her body as they travel, not tickling, not groping, just maintaining sensory contact as you create distance. Let your hands come to rest briefly on her hips, then continue the release, hands from hips to upper arms. Maintain contact there for another moment. Finally, your hands slide down her arms until you're holding just her hands standing at arm's length. Hold that position. Look at her. Let the moment breathe. Then release her hands. The entire release should take 5 to 8 seconds. Compare that to the typical 1 second complete separation, and you'll understand why this creates such a different psychological effect. Peak end rule in psychology states that people remember experiences based on their peak intensity and how they ended. The differential release ensures the ending is memorable. It creates the sense that you didn't want to let go, that you're comfortable with extended physical contact, that you're in no hurry to escape her presence. And critically, it plants a question in her mind. If a hug feels like that, what would everything else feel like? That question becomes a loop her brain runs in the background, and every time it runs, you become more interesting. Let's step back and look at what all 6 signals have in common. They're not tricks. They're not manipulation tactics. They're expressions of a fundamental principle: confident desire communicated without apology. Every signal communicates the same core message. I want to touch you. I'm comfortable wanting to touch you, and I'm calibrated enough to do it in a way that makes you comfortable too. That combination, desire plus calibration plus comfort with your own masculinity, is what creates attraction. Not one element alone, the combination. Men who are confident but uncalibrated come across as aggressive. Men who are calibrated but lack desire come across as weak. Men who have desire but aren't comfortable with it come across as creepy. But men who integrate all 3, who can touch women with clear intent, appropriate calibration, and zero internal conflict about their own desire, they operate in a different reality. These 6 signals work because they're all expressions of that integrated state. You're not executing techniques. You're communicating who you are through your body. And if who you are is a man comfortable with his own desire and respectful of hers, these touches become natural extensions of your presence. Here's what I need you to understand, because most content avoids saying this directly. Every day, women are being touched by men who understand this language. While you're building rapport, having careful conversations, trying to figure out if she's interested, other men are creating moments where interest becomes irrelevant because the attraction is already happening at a biological level. This isn't about fairness. This isn't about what should work. This is about what does work. Touch communicates faster than words. Biology responds before psychology catches up, and the men who speak this language fluently don't need to convince women to be attracted to them. They create the conditions where attraction becomes inevitable. You can spend years learning conversation techniques, improving your appearance, building status, and all of that matters. But if you never learn to communicate through touch, you're operating with one hand tied behind your back. The good news? This is learnable. These aren't talents you're born with. They're skills you develop through awareness and practice. Every interaction is an opportunity to calibrate, to notice responses, to refine your understanding of this silent language. Start paying attention to how you touch people, not just women you're attracted to, but everyone. Notice your approach, notice your pressure, notice your timing, notice how others respond to different types of contact, and then, when the moment comes, when you're standing close to a woman and physical contact is natural, remember these 6 signals, not as a checklist to execute mechanically, but as a framework for communicating authentic desire with appropriate calibration. Your body is speaking whether you're aware of it or not. The only question is whether it's saying what you want it to say. Most men will read this and do nothing. They'll think it's interesting but won't actually implement any of it. They'll continue touching women the same way they always have, wondering why attraction never materializes. But some of you will actually pay attention. You'll start noticing the subtleties. You'll begin calibrating your approach, your pressure, your duration, your hand positioning. And you'll discover that physical communication is an entirely different domain of human interaction that you've been completely blind to. Those men will see their results with women transform almost immediately, not because they're using tricks, but because they finally learned to speak a language women have been fluent in since birth. The choice is yours.